What's up, YouTube? It's your boy. Oh god, I hate this so much. Coming at you live with another crazy video. I freaking hate this so much. Today I'm gonna show you a cheese strat on how to level up your emblem rings without spending any bond fragments. For the most part, you can level up your emblems in the arena, but after a certain point, they become super expensive very quickly, and this cheese strat will hopefully help you in the long run. Two things before we get started. One, it's recommended that you beat chapter 15 because that's when you get the Dancer of Sudal. He's gonna help you save a lot of time. Two is a random tip about polishing. So I found out that you can't actually level up your emblems by polishing them. You normally gain bond points by doing this, but if you meet the threshold for the next level up, you lose that experience and it won't level up for some reason. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's get started. The cheese strat is very simple. Go to a map with an archer in it and surround it with your units. Then clear the map and farm bond points. That's it. Some of your units may die because the archer was right there and he's the only one on the map, but then you go, hey, they died for the cause. Now this is where the fun part comes in. There are a ton of ways to gain bond points. One is by entering battle and healing allies, but you can also gain bond points from things like chain guarding, dancing, dragon veining, instruct, lens doubles, but mostly repositioning. This is where the exploit comes in. Because the archer is stuck here forever watching you yeet someone across the map, we can farm bond points until the game stops you. Since reposition is inheritable through Ike and costs barely anything, you can give this to all units and level up your ring points very quickly without any risks. The pros of this strat is that it can save you so many fragments and can also level up your supports. The only real downside to this is that it is very boring and can take a while, not just by swapping back and forth, but setting up the archer and whatnot. Still, great payoff. That's basically it. There's nothing else to note here. But I wanted to go further by asking how many repositions does it take to level up your support conversations? You know, so I could just measure the exact amount so I can save people a little bit more time just to be silly about it. So for this experiment, I used Louis and Zelkov because I for sure knew I never used them together. And I'm also using swap, shut up. I set up a save right before just to check how many swaps I needed and figured out I needed 18 swaps to go from 0 to C. Also found out another useful piece of information. You can't actually farm enough support points to go from 0 to A. You have to listen to the conversation first. How do I know that? Well, I wasted 20 minutes of my life swapping these two back and forth. Exactly 100 times. And I'm certain that after 18 swaps, the support points just vanished because I entered them in another battle and I didn't get their B conversation. I am very confident it does not work. Anyway, I started experimenting some more. I wanted to see if there was a difference between swapping and repositioning, so I repositioned Ivy using Tamara, and it took 40 repositions to not level up their support. Wait, what? But at the same time, I repositioned Louis and Pandreo 8 times, and I got their C support. What is happening? This made me unsure that Zelkov and Louis didn't have any support points between them. Maybe I used them together sometime, I don't know. So then I got Rosado right after beating chapter 16, and had Louis swap with them, and it took 16 swaps? What? Okay, I saved accidentally, so it's at most 16, but still 16? I then went back to repositioning 3 other units 20 times, and none of them unlocked their C support conversation. But then I remember 2 very important things. Fortune telling. After you get Seagull, he opens up a shop and you can have your fortunes told. Now, I never really paid attention to this or knew what it does until I looked it up. This article says it helps boost supports and it mainly focuses on characters that haven't bonded yet, which is pretty counterintuitive. So when I went and visited, I found out about this. If this line is true, then most of my research just went up in smoke and Louis cannot gain any support points in his next battle unless he talks to Fram, who he doesn't even have a support with. Anyway, this next battle, I want to test a few theories. 1, I was going to swap Louis and Jade to see if this line is true. 2, I'm going to pivot Amber and Jade to recount how many times I really need and to see if the support points are based on a class thing. So after a while, I cleared the map and swapped Louis and Jade 40 times. I did not get their C support conversation. My first theory is true. Next, I pivoted Amber across Jade 18 times and did not get the conversation. So then I did it 8 more times and still didn't get it. Then I realized that I didn't even check Jade's fortune, which could also mean that Jade also has this upside down card thing. So then I just gave up and had Gold, Mary, and others reposition and swap people to level up their bond rings. Remember when the video was about that? So after beating the map, I checked my supports to see that Seedal and Alchris lost their conversation. What is going on? I had another save right before this, and their conversation is still there. I had Amber pivot Seedal because they have a support together, but somehow that overwrote the support points Seagull had with Alchris. What the hell is this game? At this point, I just lost the will to find out exactly what's going on. I intended this video to have a clickbait opening and title, but then end up having some really useful information and tips that will help new players. But I ended up going insane and found more questions than answers. I have a few hypotheses, but I don't think I can finish this by myself. So if you do know the answer to these, please tell me in the comments or something. And if you can, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. After making this video, I've gone literally insane. I could really use the support to buy my meds.